Hello friends, welcome back to the new tutorial of JavaScript. So today we are going to learn about the JavaScript loops. So those who haven't subscribed my channel yet, please do subscribe my channel and hit like to this video. So we have the loops. There are certain loops that we have foreign loops that we have a for of, then we have a loops, this basic loops that is initialization part, right? Do while loop, that is while loop. So these are the loops that we can use for iterating your array object anything, right? So let's get started what exactly the loops are. So loops are computer programs that execute a set of instructions or a block of a code certain number of items without having to write it again. Means like if you want to run 1 to 10 table, right? So you don't want to write like step by step code, just you need to iterate like you have to give in the condition, what are the last condition and what execution needs to be met. You need to just put it out and it will run and it will execute your command. So in other words, loops let your code execute one or more statements as many times as desired. So let's take an example of for loop over here, right? So for loops, what are for loops in JavaScript? For the for loop is an iterative statement which you to check to certain conditions, then repeatedly execute a block. For example, here you can see that here we have a condition. This is the condition that the I should be initialized to be 0, and this is the condition it should be less than 5. It should run less than 5 and until it will increment each and every variable, right? So if I go and check this one, okay, in my console, so let me open the console part, HTML JavaScript, okay, JS tutorial. So you need to open in the browser, right? And you need to open the console, okay? So I'm going to paste this one, okay? So condition is for I should be 0, I should be less than 5, means the variable should be less than 5 and it should be executed with the every increment. So what are the execution of this variable? If I go and check this one, it should be 1 to 4. Why? Because I should be less than 5. I should be start from 0 and it keeps on incrementing until the special conditions gonna met and the result gonna print, right? So this is the one condition for the loops, right? This is for loop basically, right? So this is how you can see that the uh, you have given the initialization, a condition and an increment value. So these are the combinations of the loops in for loop, right? So this is how if certain conditions you want to met, you need to use that for loop, right? So moving to the next part, for loop is done. Moving to the while loop. So while loop evaluates the condition inside the parenthesis. If the condition evaluates to be true, the code inside the loop to be executed. The condition is evaluated again. This process continues until the condition is false. When the condition evaluates to be false, the loop stops. So this is a while loop. Okay, so here we go with the while loop, right? So this is the code. So let's run this one, click this and add this one, okay? So here you can see that let me explain step by step, okay? So while loop evaluates the condition inside the parenthesis. You can see that we have condition in the parenthesis, right? After this, if the condition evaluates to be true, the code inside it's to be executed. If this conditions to be true, the code inside to be executed until or unless if it is returns to be false, then the code execution stops, right? So let's run it. You can see that iterator by default it's 0. It should be run less than 5, okay? So it keeps on running with iterator plus 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 plus, then it runs to be the 5. Once the condition met, then it print it out, right? So you can see that. So if the condition evaluates to be true, the code inside value while loop should be executed. The condition is evaluated again. It will iterate again and again until the special condition needs to be false. Then it stops the code execution, right? Okay. So this is how the while loop we use, right? Next, we are moving to the do while loop. Okay. So let's check out what exactly the do while loop does. So here we go with this one. So here we can see that there is a do while. Okay. So do while loop, we have make the iterator 0 and do in do, that is doing part, right? Iterator starts with plus plus plus. First it increments, then console that iterator. After this met it, after the while condition, it will check, it will print accordingly, right? You can see that. So you can see that. Okay, okay, so there is an error over here. I need to remove this. So you can see that by default we have made the iterator 0, and let's make the condition first. So what it has been doing right now, so so you can see that we have the body of the loop executed at the first. Okay, you can see that the body of the loop executed first. Okay, but then the condition is evaluated. First execution is done, then the condition is evaluating. After the condition is evaluated to be true, the body of the loop inside the do statement is executed again. So here the main difference is the loop is executed at first, then the condition is evaluated. There's a main difference in that, in the do while and the while loop, right? So these loops are completed. Moving to the next two loops, that is foreign loop and the for of loop. Basically a foreign loop, and these all are the ECMA 6 browsers so these are the new version that we have. So we have a for in loop and we have a for of loop. Okay, so for in loop, JavaScript allows to iterate over all the property keys of an object. Okay, so we can use that way of the for in loop. I will explain you the differences between them also. So here we can go with the for loop, right? So you can see that 1 2 3 4 5 array dot foo hello let, and we have just iterated over it, right? This is basically iteration. You can where you want to use it, right? Okay. Then we have another loop, that is for of loop, and for of loop JavaScript allows to iterate over the arrays, objects, sets, maps, strings, etc. So this is helpful on that note, right? So you need to just use for let, this is the array that we want to iterate, then you can console the log that is prints 3 5 and 7. Okay, and what are the major difference between both of them? For of loop is used to iterate through the values of iterable, that should be iterable, right? And the for in loop is used to iterate through the keys and keys of an object. You can see that for in loop, for in loop basically keys of an object, you require it for it, right? When you have the objects, you can use this for in loop, right? Now we have for of loop cannot be used to iterate over an object. So this is very important, that for of loop cannot be used to iterate over an object. You can use it, okay, and you can use for in loop to iterate arrays, strings, but you should avoid using for in for iterables. Okay, so where we have a key in the object, so don't use that part, right? So this is the main difference between for of loop, for in loop, right? And do while loop we have already discussed, and there is a for loop that is a very old loop that we have already used in every of the programming language. Okay, so in this, any query, any issue in that, just let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.